the potential for the future for Syria. So in Syria, since 2004, I joined the Syrian human rights organization called Sawasiya, and we worked on monitoring the human rights abuses and reporting about it to the whole world. And in our work, I'm an engineer by training, but most of the people were actually lawyers. But they asked me to be the executive director because we lawyers kind of are practical, and pragmatic. So in our work, we really were working for Syrians. Never crossed our mind to think those Syrian, what religion are they, what denomination, what ethnicity. All what we were thinking was about justice, a voice, to sustain a voice for the Syrians who are for justice. This what was on our mind, and I worked like this for many years. And and I was travel banned by the Syrian regime. Me and 472, we were on travel ban of the Syrian regime because we were working for justice. I couldn't. Syria became like a big prison for me. So anyway, in 2011, I had to flee Syria. We were monitoring the demonstrations in Damascus and actually in all of Syria, but I was focused on the suburbs of Damascus with my colleagues, but we also had people in Hasake and Hamouda and Qamishli and other places who were reporting daily to us, especially on Fridays, what is happening. So we had a good ideas about the sentiment of the people. And we saw nothing that gave the impression that the Syrian people are not really united as a movement for all Syrians. That was what we absorbed. And I was very conscious. I used to ask the people who report to us, did you notice any Islamist group, we call them in Syria the Muslim Brotherhood? Are they active? Are they taking any role? They said no, there is no such thing. It was just Syrian people. And they were asking for dignity and freedom for all Syrians. That was the demand. Now, in late 2011, in September, I had to flee. I was alerted that I needed to flee, so I fled Syria, and I was on my way actually to the US. We stopped in London, and I got a phone call from Riyadh Saif. And he asked me to come to Istanbul and join the Syrian National Council, which was hoping to be the political representation of the opposition. That meant I would have to leave human rights work and engage for the first time in the political realm. So I went there and joined the Syrian National Council in Istanbul. What was interesting to me, that these people who were there, they just had no connection from the Syria that I just fled.
Oh my God. Yeah, sure.
They were all expats.
Yes.
Who were living for many decades outside of Syria and really knew nothing about how we felt. And they were playing heavy politics with outside powers. That was the situation. So that was my first disappointment. And I wasn't alone. I had other colleagues with me from Syrian Human Rights Organization we encountered the same feelings. And we also noticed that they wanted to marginalize us who came from inside Syria. They saw us as a threat, So that was a problem that we encountered early on. Now, as we progress with the Syrian National Council, other problems really began to develop. One of them, and the major one, was the revolution departed from being a civil resistance through demonstrations into an armed resistance. And as this happened, us as a political body, we had no control over what is happening.